Hi, my name's Kelly, and I'm the creator of The Power of Perfect Pitch. I want to thank you for buying this, and I just want you to know that you are going to be successful. And there's one very important reason why. You see, when you bought this program, what you did is you put value on having the power of perfect pitch. It means so much more when you spend money on things rather than getting something for free. I want you to think for a second. Imagine if you worked really hard, you saved up your money, very long time, and you bought the car of your dreams and you're driving it home. You got the radio cranked up, you got your hands on the steering wheel. You can really feel yourself sit back in the seat when you hammer down on that accelerator. You hear the whine of the engine, or maybe it's silent. Maybe it's like a Tesla or something awesome like that. And then you're pulling around the corner and you stop. And there in your driveway is the same exact car, same exact one, every single thing about it. One problem: you only have room in your driveway for one car. Which one do you choose? Well, if you're like me, you're probably going to keep the car that you spent all this time, all this money, and you're going to sell the other one, right? You still get to sell it. You still get to keep the money. Still, this is an awesome fantasy. We're just having a fun fantasy here. But the point is that I bet you it's more valuable to you to have that one car that you worked so hard to get and you exchanged your money for, which is a value exchange. And thus, you're going to get a lot out of this program. But I do have some bad news. The value exchange hasn't stopped. I'm going to ask for you to invest even more in yourself, okay? Now, I'm not talking about a big amount of money, but there are some items that you're going to need on this quest for developing and uncovering your power of perfect pitch. So, the first thing that you're going to need to get is a nice pair of headphones. And sure, they don't have to be very expensive, but some of the audios that I'm going to be having you listen to throughout this course have binaural beats in them or ASMR recordings, and they're not done on this microphone. I've got two other microphones that are very good at separating the left and the right side of the sound, and that way you're going to get a more deep experience. So that's the first thing, nice pair of headphones. The next thing is to get this whole process started. We really need to be in the right state of mind for absorbing information, taking it in. And that comes from being relaxed and focused. And the way we're going to do that is going through a process to create a state of mind that I call the integration state of mind. Because this isn't learning. This is not like going to class, taking copious amounts of notes, and having to remember things. Like this is not traditional learning, and in fact, there is nothing for you to learn. It's not even your responsibility to learn. So you can just wipe that idea. Whoop, wipe that idea completely out of your mind. So what it is my responsibility to help you effortlessly absorb this information and just take it in. And the way we're going to do it is first by getting in the right state of mind. This is going to involve a little bit of sports psychology. Professional athletes do a little trick before they actually go into a game where they just look at a 5 by 5 grid of numbers that are randomly selected, click through, and just focus on going through the numbers. Double zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 24. So we're going to do a couple rounds of that, and then we're going to get into the integration state of mind. So what's really cool about getting into this integration state of mind is that it gets so easy. And it's going to take probably 15, 20 minutes to first develop this state of mind that's going to include some accomplishment, some relaxed, focused energy. But after that, it's only going to take a couple minutes before each session, and it's going to make all the difference. Okay. So, the way we're going to get into these states of mind is we're going to start by putting on a piece of jewelry, not now, but when we do this whole process, we're going to associate your jewelry to having this integration state of mind. So, my suggestion is get something that means something to you. And if you're a kid and your parents bought this program for you, so you haven't made much of an investment yet, what would be really cool is you tell your parents you want to earn the money to buy a little piece of jewelry. And what I suggest is like something you can put on, like a bracelet or a necklace. Maybe a ring would be good. I don't know that earrings would be too good because you can't really feel them that much. I mean, if you've had them for a while, you just can't feel them that much. Um, so that's what I would say. And don't use a piece of jewelry that you've already had. Use something new. Get something new that you can really associate with this power of perfect pitch that you're developing inside, because this is something important. So for me, I spent a little bit more than I usually would on a piece of jewelry, but I'm older. I'm 36, so like don't think you have to go out and spend a lot of money and get some like fancy gold necklace or, a fancy pendant for your necklace or a really expensive gold ring or gold bracelet. You can get silver. Silver's a pretty inexpensive metal for the most part. You can get a nice like silver ring or, bracelet, $50, something like that. And it doesn't even have to be that expensive. Some silver is even less. I've seen some silver rings that are really cool, like little angel wings that wrap around that are like one size fit all rings. Oh, that would be a really perfectly cool. And I've seen those for like $15, $10, $15. They're totally cool. But the point is just find something that's your style, um, means something to you, and that's new and you spend money on. And the next piece is going to be, of course, that's the tactile piece to start getting into the state. The next piece we're going to use is scent. Scent is one of our ancient, most primitive senses. Now, I'm not getting into too deep into the woo woo scientific lands, but if you were to think right now about how we came from one cell organisms, we didn't have eyes, ears. We didn't have fingers to touch anything. If we were just one cell, we didn't really have much going on. But you know what we had? We had a membrane around us and we were able to sense chemicals. And maybe we'd sense some chemicals and we'd be like, "Ooh, I want to stay away from that." Or we'd sense some chemicals and we'd be like, "Ooh, I like this." Well, bring us back up from, through the 7 billion years that long time ago was and come back to today. Well, our noses sense chemicals. That's why when you smell something, that's the chemicals coming off and entering your nose, hitting these little receptors inside, sending the signals into your brain directly. The nose has a really direct line through the olfactory nerve right into the brain. And that's why some of our oldest memories are connected to a scent. I mean, if I were to pause and slow down, and just remember going to my grandma's house down in Georgia. I can be there. I can smell what it smelled like and remember that moment that after driving, or riding in the car with my parents for 16 hours or 2 days of travel and then walking through the door, smelling that smell, seeing my grandparents excited to see me, and all the cheer and just going in and giving my grandma a hug, giving my grandpa a hug, going out to eat dinner with them. Everything that was just wonderful about that trip to Georgia just comes back into my life. And if I were to smell that smell right now, I'd be right back there. Now, What I would suggest is when picking your scent to link to this state of mind for integration, right? This integration state of mind, I would pick a perfume or cologne that's not too powerful. You don't really want something that is just a blast of strong sillage and strong radiance of scent because potentially you're going to be wearing this around a lot of people. Like if you, let's say you were in a band at school, with like 100 different people, you really don't want one of these really blow your mind kind of Dior Sauvage is one that comes to my mind that you spray one spray, it will fill an auditorium. You know what I mean? You just want something that like you spray, it just is on your skin. You can smell it. That's good enough. Or maybe just a very light, you don't need these really strong fragrances. The one that I chose is called Jazz Club. And for me, it means something. The person who introduced me to this method of developing my power of perfect pitch, he was a jazz musician. And I thought this would be a nice way to pay tribute to him as well. Jazz Club is only about a 4 hour long fragrance. It's not too strong, it's very moderate. So I can spray it on, and a few hours later, it's really not going to be around. So it's pretty chill. So that kind of gets into what we're going to do for the integration state of mind. Now let's get into what you're going to need for the actual integration sessions. Okay. So what you're going to need are index cards. So I just have some regular, these are 4x6. You just get them up at Walmart or anywhere, Staples, and you get the ones that are blank on one side and lined on the other side. Okay. And that's because we're going to be doing some drawing on there. And it's okay if you're not a good drawer. Okay. So the key is with drawing is that, and I discovered this, it's kind of interesting because I was taking a lot of notes and I met someone and they said, if you're learning, they've found that if you just draw a picture of what you're learning, you remember more. All right. So the reason why we're getting these index cards so that you can draw on one side and write on the other is because I don't know if anyone's in like a drama club, but we're going to be doing some character development. When you draw on the one side, you're going to be hearing a note and creating a character that represents that note. And that could be a person, place, a thing. But we want to find out more like, what is it about this thing? Is it mysterious? Is it angry? Is it sad? Is it happy? Like, let's come up with some characters and that way it's got a personality, right? Because this is all about, taking this note that, maybe it's like a did, did, and it's like, oh, well, there's not much to that. Well, we're going to enrich it, right? We're going to make it really rich. And then we're going to just move it on over to me. Super easy to integrate. And that's part of the process. Now, we're not stopping there. We're creating multi layers of association. So that's the first one. That's drawing. So you're connecting neurologically your hand to your brain to draw what you visually are creating in your mind as well as seeing afterwards. So, two levels, internal, external. And then you're also getting the ears. You're hearing the sound going in. So, you're getting that at the same time. And for each one of these notes, I'm going to be having a different cup of tea. I'm not sure what's your cup of tea, but I've got these, it's called Celestial Seasonings, and they make these sampler packs. So this one has a fruit tea sampler. So that's kind of neat. And then the other one is an herbal tea sampler. And they each have 5. So I'll probably have to get 1 or 2 more teas just to finish out. So I have one for all the notes. And so that's another association, taste being associated, and also having a warm beverage, I think just kind of puts you in a nice relaxed state of mind. So I do suggest tea, but you could do this with any kind of drink. I do like the idea of having a different drink for every different note. You might think I'm crazy, right? You might think I'm a little bit out there, a little bit wacky, a little bit strange, a little bit unusual, a little bit extra, a little bit not day room, a little bit extraordinary, right? So the reason why is because these little tiny pieces add up because we're activating more and more of our neuro network. All these little neurons inside of our brain are going to be lighting up. It's not just going to be the auditory pathway lighting up, we're lighting up every single layer of our neurology so that we just effortlessly integrate the power of perfect pitch. So the next piece, so we've got taste, we've got sight, we've got, hearing. How about smell? Let's see what we can do for that. So for each note, we are going to have a different scent. So I got an essential oils kit. So this is different than using the cologne is to help you get into this integration state. This is to connect with each note. And so it's whatever you want to associate with that note. I picked an essential oil set that has about 42, just so when I hear the notes, I can kind of choose like, what is it about this note? Is it lavender? Is it birchwood? There's just so many options. So I just picked one that had a lot of options for me. So let's see. And some other things that I don't have on the table with me would be a set of colored pencils, right? We want to do some different colors as well. That way, when you hear a note, you created a personality, and that personality also has a color associated, and that color and that personality gives you a different feeling inside. Right? Now we're getting a lot, right? Because I bet you wondered when we were going to get into the feeling. And another piece is a small notebook, just so that you can do a little journaling at the end of the day. And this is very light. I'm talking like 1-2 minutes tops. Just kind of reflecting back, like if you learned the C note today, reflect back. Did you notice when they were being played in music you were listening to later? Or heck, maybe the beep of a microwave. You're like, yo, that's a C note. It's just like strange stuff like that'll start happening. Um, and then the next thing with the feeling, of course, we're going to get into the internal feeling. What I would love, and this is like bonus points here, is if you can find a way, right, to get different textures. Now they make these a lot of times for little kids. Like they'll make these books that you flip and it'll be like the soft bunny and it'll have like a piece of really soft material and that the kid will feel and it'll be like, oh, it's soft bunny. And then the next page, the like rough rhinoceros and it'll have like a little like sandpaper-esque material. So what I'm going to do is start playing with some different textures just so I can even associate a literal tactile feeling to the note. We are layers deep, right? We are going down the rabbit hole and we are going to have such a great time taking this new approach to developing our power of perfect pitch. Because let's face it, I deserve it. You deserve it. What could you do if you had the power of perfect pitch right now? How would that transform the way you approach music? Would you be able to sing a song better? Would you be able to hit those notes? Would you be able to play music by ear? Ah, what a dream come true. Would you be able to listen to music and simply relate to it so much more and have so much more enjoyment? I wonder what kind of vision you're creating inside of your mind for how this will impact your life because you deserve it 100%. And you deserve to go out and get these little items for your quest, right? And I'm going to have a list at the bottom of this video just so it's very easy for you to just go down your checklist and find these. Some of them will even be on Amazon and they'll be to you in a couple days, right? But some of them, maybe it's like you just want to search around and find just that right piece of jewelry or just that right smell. It's worth it. And you're worth it. So thank you so much for tuning in and getting started. I'm so excited to get just on this pathway of integration, naturally and automatically connecting to your power of perfect pitch. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.